I'm Anil Kumar, sharing with you most popular questions which you will encounter while doing applications for trigonometric ratios, solving right triangles. Now we are moving into the second section where we need to solve the problem, but we also have to sketch the diagram, right? So it becomes at times very difficult to understand the questions, sketch the diagram, and then solve. I'd like you to copy these questions, questions 3, 4, 5, and 6. Their answers are also provided, and try them on your own. In this set of videos, we will take these questions one by one. Now it has the other side. We have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, which are given here on this side. So copy these questions, solve them on your own, and if you need help, you can look for complete solutions in these set of videos, right? So here are some more, and then I'll share with you the rest also, which are right there. Let me just ensure that you can see them all, right? And on the right hand corner, you have answers for all these questions, right? So have a second look. Perfect. Try to solve these questions. In this particular video, however, I'm only going to discuss with you the strategy which is going to help us solve all these questions, right? And then we will take up these questions one by one. I hope that helps. So now we'll talk about steps to solve a word problem. The first and foremost step is read carefully, right? So that is the first step, read carefully. And write what is given and what you need to find. Now that is most important, right? So whenever you read a question, read carefully, write down what is given and what you need to find. And second is you need to sketch diagram. Now this is sometimes you may not sketch the diagram, but the examples which we are taking up, in these examples you need to sketch the diagram. Now I also noticed while going through these questions, there are two terms which you should understand, and these terms are the angle of elevation and angle of depression. Now I've found that this point is not very clear to some students, as this is too early for them to get to these things, but these questions have the terms angle of elevation and angle of depression. Now we will be working with a very I should say a very good problem here. Well, let us say that we have let me use a different color here, make a problem for you. Okay, so let us say that this is the ground level, okay, and there is a tree somewhere right there. Okay, so this is our tree. Now from a point you find the angle to the top of the tree, right? And we say this angle is called the angle of elevation. Angle, when you see, this is your line of sight, right? So let me call this as line of sight. And this is my horizontal. So the angle between line of sight and horizontal, let me call this as theta, is called the angle of elevation, right? Now the question which we will solve at the end of these videos is kind of like this, which is difficult. That is, if we measure the angle of elevation from two different points, right? Let us say these are the 2 points, and we say, well, this angle is phi for us, right? So we can always measure this angle, plus we know how much distance we traveled between the 2 points. Let us say we traveled 5 meters, right? Now from this information, the two angles and this 5 meters, you need to find height. of the tree, right? So let me say h. So you need to find height of the tree, correct? So that is the question which you will be doing after, or those are the type of questions which you will end up doing once we do these popular questions from the book, right? And if you can actually solve this question, you need not go through these set of videos. That means you know a lot, right? You move on to different kind of questions, probably not these, okay? Now this is angle of elevation. On the other hand, we have angle of depression, which could be seen from the top, right? So in that case, what we have is, let me make another question for that. That is, let's say this is the ground and here we have a flag, right? So we have a flag here, right? Now, in this particular flag, we're talking about, let's say sun rays are coming and then you get a shadow. So that is the shadow of the flag. Now the angle of depression is this angle. The angle which is from the top. So this is the angle of, this is your line of sight. I should say sun rays, okay, whatever. And that is the horizontal. So the angle of depression, this is angle of depression, this is angle of depression, okay, this one. Do you get the idea? So it is always, these two angles are measured from horizontal. So that is the kind of question which we will be solving, right? If you are given the angle of depression, let us say you know this angle of depression is, let us say, 32 degrees. And if you know the length of the shadow, let's say the length of the shadow is 20 meters, then find the height of the flag, right? So from the ground. So that is the kind of question which can be solved using angle of depression and angle of elevation, right? So we have two examples here solving for these triangles. So these are the type of questions which we may land up solving, right? But the idea here is to understand how to solve word problems as I shared with you. So first read, sketch the diagram, label it, right? So that you clearly know what to do and how to do, right? And then once you have your problem, think about SOHCAHTOA, right? Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan is opposite over adjacent. Now this will tell you which ratio to use at what time. In all these cases which we are considering, we'll have one common factor, and that is we are talking about a right triangle. So there is a right triangle always when we are solving these questions, okay? So apply SOHCAHTOA, primary trigonometric ratios, and figure out which one to use to solve the question, right? And then you need to write clear answer. Including units, okay, units, you need to round them at times as specified. So that is very important. So these are the steps which you need to follow to solve these questions, right? I hope with this, let's begin solving questions now. So you can move on to the next video and see how we are going to solve question number 3 onwards. I hope that helps. Thank you and all the best.